On this week's episode, how Deadpool has a taste for Bob's Burgers, our best Black Friday deals, and can the Demon Slayer slay the box office worldwide? All this and more as we once again delve into the pop culture cosmos.
Welcome to the pop culture cosmos.
And we're back with another episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos. This is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our great shows, and if you can, please give us that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, or do anything at all that you can to support us right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos, it is sincerely appreciated. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without my good friend. He's our own Josh Creed Valhalla of Pop Culture Cosmos. You gotta catch what he's doing today at popculturecosmos.com, his shows Topicocalypse and the Super BS Gamescast, and also his awesome book, which would be a great stocking stuffer this holiday and a great Black Friday deal. Congratulations, You Suck, which is now available on Barnes & Noble and, of course, Amazon.com. It is my good friend. It is Josh Peterson. What's up, man?
First of all, I want to thank whoever donated the funds to the Pop Culture Cosmos so that we can get that really sick 30-second timer before the show. That took our production value up to 12.
That's Streamer. Got to give props to StreamYard on that. But I tell you what, it's so great to have everyone here listening and watching us right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. Big shout out to all of our great fans out there. We cannot thank you enough for watching and taking the time to go ahead and listen to our program. We've got another good one on tap today for you. First off, our guest coming up in the back half of the show on his last segment for now, although you know he's going to be coming back around again anytime soon. It is the madman on the barbecue from Australia, our good friend indeed, Mr. Ben Arnot from Smoking Hot Confessions. He's got one more recipe he wants to go in and hand down to us. That food knowledge is coming back around, and he'll be back on once again on the back end of the show. We're going to have our top Black Friday picks for 2020. That'll come up on the back end of the show, and also the failure of the remake of a classic game from the past. We'll be talking about the failure of 13 coming up later in the program as well. There's a lot of controversy and some pretty ill will right now going on Steam for that one. We'll also be talking about the latest trailers for Chaos Walking, Tom and Jerry, and Josh with his anime wisdom. I wanted to go ahead and shoot out at him some news on a movie that's actually in the theaters doing well somewhere in the world. And this one is called Demon Slayer. It's actually hitting very well even in the middle of a pandemic. How good is it doing? We'll go ahead and talk about that and see if it's something that could gain interest in other parts of the world coming up later in the show as well. But first, my friend, Deadpool 3. I want to go ahead and hit you up on this. Looks like they have found new writers. 2 writers from the Bob's Burger show that airs in the States on Fox. I wanted to go ahead and get your opinion on this. It sounds like by finding these new writers, and they're going to be working with, of course, Ryan Reynolds on this as far as how the character's going to be developed in the movie, and obviously the script and the lines and the funny things that are going to be said. They're going to be tossing around to each other. But it sounds like at this point in time, Deadpool 3 is a go. So I want to hear your thoughts on Deadpool 3 now being officially christened. Disney and Marvel finally saying, you know what? It's time that we go ahead and venture into a world of Marvel that's R-rated.
I mean, it makes me wonder if it will be R-rated. So the people that do Bob's Burgers, obviously they're working for Disney now, right? Yes. Bob's Burgers movie is still scheduled to come out at some point. Bob's Burgers, fantastic show. It is hilarious. Every time I watch it, I laugh at least 3 times per episode, and that's a lot more than The Simpsons does for me. So, am I on board for this? Absolutely. Do I feel sorry for the people who had been working on that film before? Yeah, I do, because it kind of is like a slap in the face, like, oh, your script is good, but we're gonna go more in house for this. So I'm wondering if they're using the Bob's Burgers writers to kind of tone down the I guess the crudity of Deadpool.
That would be a mistake right there if they did. I
Yeah,
mean,
right, because that's everyone's biggest concern right now, is if it's going to end up being like a PG-13 movie, in which case there's no point in going, continuing on with it, because Deadpool, the whole allure of Deadpool, especially to, kids, I guess, who shouldn't really be watching the movie, the whole allure to people going to see that is just because of how blatantly violent and over the top it is. So if they were to take that out, that could be dangerous box office wise, and that would also be something that I don't think the Bob's Burgers team are really prepared to handle.
no, and I agree with you on that. And big shout out to Knowing and Fine, who's watching us. Thank you so much for hopping on at last minute notice for the Friday show, the PC Multiverse, which you can still check out now on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel. He and I had a great conversation. If you want to go ahead and check that out, please, that would be greatly appreciated. When it comes to Deadpool, I mean, there's no choice. You have to continually, on his own movies, make it R-rated. Yes, when he's out and about in the world of Marvel, if you want to connect him into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you want to put him in an Avengers movie or something like that, or have him have an appearance in one of the other movies, they have to be brief. I don't think they can be extended, because you have to keep them PG-13. I think that's the problem right there you have, is how and when is he going to interact in movies outside of his own. I think Marvel and Disney have come to grips with the fact that they're going to have to keep on making R-rated Deadpool movies. Now, they can also end up making PG-13 cuts of them, like they did with Deadpool 2. It garnered a lot of money, but it really didn't go over, like Noah had said as well, I think, and also many other people said it wasn't just as funny as previous. But again, I think when it comes to Disney and Marvel, you will see Deadpool 3 as an R-rated movie. It's just the thing is, how funny will he be? How funny can he be when he goes and interacts outside of the realm of his own movies? That's going to be the big question.
Another big question I'm curious about is, how connected is it going to be to the MCU? Because obviously Disney is a machine, right? Disney is into machinizing these franchise films. Look at Star Wars, right? So of course they want to make it so Deadpool is somehow profitable, not just marketed to adults, but also kids. So how are they going to tie all that together? Because I guarantee you, God willing, Disneyland ever reopens, they're gonna start stocking Deadpool merch in all these places, right? So that also is another thing that leads me to believe that this is going to come out with a PG-13 rating. So, how is that all going to work? I feel like Disney, because of the money that stands to be made from Deadpool, I don't think they can let Deadpool be what it was when it was behind the wheelhouse of 20th Century Fox.
Ooh, I disagree with you. I think there will be a PG-13 cut of it, but I also think that there will also be an R-rated cut, which will be the most heavily promoted and ultimately will be the most successful. I don't think you can go ahead and guarantee $600 to $800 million like you could as far as the previous two iterations. And you could guarantee that if it's not an R-rated movie. Because, again, it comes down to how funny can you make Deadpool in a PG-13 format. I think in brief spurts, doing certain things within the confines of the Avengers movies, or let's say a Spider-Man movie, because, obviously Spider-Man and Deadpool in the comic books have had a relationship, and obviously Ryan Reynolds has alluded to that as well with Tom Holland. And then, of course, if he interacts in the Avengers movies, you can put in little bits and pieces of him that would make it funny. The thing is, though, on his own movie, Deadpool 3, and the new writers that are in there now, Wendy and Lizzie Molyneux, those two ladies from Bob's Burgers, I think they're going to go ahead and do a major fourth wall bashing on Disney, and it's going to get Disney's blessing. I don't think Disney's going to mess with this. I really don't. I really don't think they're going to screw it up. I know it's not to everyone's liking it, Disney, but again, they understand, especially Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige, if he didn't have the power that he has now, I would say you're right, but he has the ultimate power, and I think he knows what makes that character tick and click with audiences. And I'm thinking right now it's got to. I think like he does that. I'm sure that an R-rated Deadpool, because I think that will happen in the future. I mean, they want to make what Doctor Strange 2 and the Multiverse of Madness. They want to push that as close to an R rating as possible. Plus, there could be the next Blade. There could be other movies down the line. They're seeing the success that Sony's having with Venom, and now Venom 2 on the way, and Morbius being R-rated flicks. I think it's, at some point in time, they're going to have to bite the bullet and say, you know what? Deadpool's going to be an R-rated film, whether we like it or not. And the question is, though, when it comes out on home video, will it go to Hulu or Disney Plus? I think it would be in their best interest to take it to Disney Plus, but that's another story altogether.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope it is the Deadpool that we all know and love, but at the same time, like, I am fostering some doubts at this point, you know. And as for where it's going, yeah, it'll probably go to Disney Plus, because I mean, look, they have already incorporated the X-Men films into their Marvel library on Disney Plus. I don't know if Logan's up there. I haven't actually like dug around at all for that, but you know, it would make sense just from a marketing standpoint to throw those all together.
I think eventually it will lead to either an adult section, a centered off section for only 18 plus for people that are accessing Disney Plus, or again, as I've told you ad nauseum, my friend, ultimately combining all the Hulu and everything that they've got into one Disney Plus package. I think that's the ultimate that they're going to have to do. I think at some point in time, you will just have to say, you know what, Netflix is able to take care of all this content from G to R rated and are able to manage it, and they're able to manage it effectively enough. We need to go ahead and do the same thing, because Disney Plus that's the future for Disney. It's not necessarily Hulu, it is Disney Plus, and I think they're in their best efforts, if they want to go ahead and match up with Netflix long term, go ahead and get everything, and that would include the Deadpools of the world and all the other R-rated things that they have from 20th Century Fox or anything that they've thrown Hulu's way. I think ultimately that's the choice that they have to make. But for now, Deadpool 3, I think they're going to write it and produce it with the full intent of its original version being in an R-rated format. Although I will say that it will not be out of the realm of possibility if there's a Once Upon a Deadpool type deal where it is a PG-13 cut shown as well.
Yes. So I mean, I would say yes. I was thinking of
dramatic pause. Yes.
But yeah, no. I mean, I totally hope that it remains the same. I foster doubts, you know, and like I totally see them going PG-13 for the sake. And here's the thing, though, the reason that I'm so set on that idea is because of Star Wars. Just to see how badly they were willing to butcher Star Wars for the sake of selling action figures and merchandise. And that is what worries me about the future of Deadpool.
I'm just saying this, if they did come out with it as a strict PG-13 movie, and I'm talking about Deadpool 3, there would be such a huge backlash. And that would kill the Deadpool character, and also would kill any future for the Deadpool movies. I don't think you would want to kill any chance you had for future Deadpool movies, because if you just brought it out as a PG-13 movie, I think that's done. I think you could just say it's done. I think you have a limit on how much Deadpool can make as an entire movie, as a PG-13 movie. I think you have so much of a limit for it, and I think there's just going to be so much of a demand for an R-rated Deadpool 3 that I don't think it would. I just think it would be just so much social media backlash and so much consumer backlash that it would essentially kill the Deadpool character, even though he really can't be killed.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that, but I don't see it being outside of the realm of possibility with Disney. I hope I'm wrong. Again, I really, really hope I'm wrong.
What are your thoughts out there on Deadpool 3? It's now underway. A new writing team from Bob's Burgers is now a part of the production, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and coordinate with Ryan Reynolds on a Deadpool 3. So Deadpool 3 is moving forward. It is going to most likely be somewhere contained within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But we want to hear your thoughts on the bigger question. Do you think Deadpool 3 will be released only as a PG-13 movie, or do you think it will be released as an R-rated movie with either a PG-13 option added or just as an R-rated movie in and of itself? We want to hear your thoughts on this. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. We really want to hear your thoughts on that because it is a big question. I think going forward, it will be an R-rated movie. Now, obviously, there's going to be times where if he's going to be in the MCU, that he's going to be involved with the Avengers. That might be different. He might be more PG-13 Deadpool. But when it comes to Deadpool 3, we want to hear your thoughts on whether or not it will be released initially as an R-rated film. Share us your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com.
Hey, this is Chad from Ghost Toasters, and you're listening to Pop Culture Cosmos Podcast.
Hey Lakers fans! Looking for the best place to go for up-to-date news, information, original videos, articles, podcasts, opinion pieces, and discussions about the world champion Los Angeles Lakers? Well, look no further than Lakerholics.com. With a legion of followers always there talking about everything Lakers and the NBA, there's no better place to go to share your fandom as the team heads toward another championship run. So stop by and be part of the conversation today at Lakerholics.com. Well, my friend, there's so much more to talk about on today's program. Did you get a chance to see the latest trailer for Chaos Walking? A kind of dystopian sci-fi film with Tom Holland, Mads Mikkelsen, Daisy Ridley, Nick Jonas. I want to hear your thoughts on this because I have some, but you watched it most recently. So I want to hear your thoughts on Chaos Walking and see if it matches somewhere near mine.
I don't know. It has that same vibe I got when what was that movie with Natalie Portman and they went into the Sheen, right? And there's
the one you saw. You went to the movie
Annihilation.
Yeah, Annihilation, because you went to go see that film in the theaters.
Yes, I did, and I regret it. Well, I mean, I don't regret it. It was worth watching, I guess, in order to understand that. Like, I appreciate what they did, but I just wasn't my favorite thing. It gave me vibes of Annihilation, like just seeing the little shine around his head and just the way that was filmed, seeing the color palettes they used for the cinematography. So it looks gritty. It looks really cool in that aspect. My hope is that it doesn't turn out being another like Valerian. Is that what that movie is called? Yeah. So my hope is that it doesn't turn out being like that. The story sounds really interesting. I thought that it was more of a like Indiana Jones type film in space, but I guess it's not really that. It's more of because I've never read the book, so it looks more like I guess a mixture of the Rundown, where they're just like running through the wilderness, and it looks more like a survival film, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, let me just give everybody a rundown real quick, my friend, on this. Basically, Daisy Ridley's ship crashes onto a planet. The planet is I think only has men on it, and the men can read each other's minds, and she can read all their minds, but they can't read hers. I think that's pretty much the gist of it. And then there's also at the end, I guess, a threat of alien races that were either following her or after her. They're coming to go ahead and invade the planet. I think that's the vibe I got. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. So it looks cool. It looks something that I would be down to watch. I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on it, though? Daisy Ridley looks like she is trying to break away from Star Wars a little bit.
Maybe that's why she had the blonde hair.
Right, and Tom Holland is good. I love the idea of her being able to see his thoughts. My one reservation is I saw they have a dog in this, and if they pull an I Am Legend and kill the dog, then it's going to have my instant hatred.
It's always your deal breaker for that, my friend. First thing that comes up is the big question. Daisy Ridley, like you said, is in it, and she has her natural voice on it. And, she has the blonde hair, so she's trying to look different, like you said, trying to escape the shadow of Star Wars, per se. And then you have Mads Mikkelsen, who could end up being in the Fantastic Beasts movies. We don't know yet for sure, but something that's been talked about. He's in it, and then Nick Jonas. I want to talk about Tom Holland. We all know he's from the UK. And we all know that he's going to have his American voice for Spider-Man and Uncharted, even though, again, don't test me on Uncharted. This is going to be an issue I'm going to have to deal with. I'm still coming to grips with it because I don't think he's the right choice to play Nathan Drake. But then again, that's me. What's up with the fact that this movie, he could have actually used his regular voice and chose not to? I don't get that. I mean, you've got Daisy Ridley in her British accent. Why not use his normal accent in this film? It's not like he doesn't have to. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Is there an incessant need for Tom Holland, who does all of his interviews in his normal accent? I just don't get it. I don't understand it. You're going to have to clue me in on this.
I don't know. I mean, I think normal accent. Are we talking like with his British accent?
Yeah, his normal British accent. He doesn't use it in this film. Why? I don't understand.
I don't know. I mean, I think people see him as the Spider-Man character, and they want him to remain as the Spider-Man character.
But he does all of his interviews in his normal voice, which is British.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you look at like war epics, right? They're usually done with British accents. You look at these like gritty survival films. They're usually done with like these hardcore Americans, I guess. So that I'm sure it's like they want to give the illusion of this being something like that, and not I don't know, not more refined like you would find someone with a British accent, and if that makes sense.
Well, Noe and Fine just dropped some knowledge with us on the film. The film, I guess, is something that's been on ice for a little while, maybe as early as 2017. Maybe it's reshoots intended. So this could be something that may not be the most beloved by the studio, that they may want to either just put straight on a home video or on demand, or something that may not go over well. I mean, that doesn't sound or bode well for the film if it's been on ice that long. I want to hear your thoughts on that, because this is something, to me, I'm on the fence about. I'm not entirely digging it. Tom Holland's accent aside, I'm just kind of on the fence on. I want to hear your thoughts on this, because I appreciate, again, props to Noe and Fine for letting us know on that.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out a couple of years ago, and I don't really know like what happened to it, but I don't know. This is a book series I don't really know anything about. So as far as the story goes, I'm intrigued by what I saw in the trailer. Is it something that I'm going to rush out to theaters to watch? I don't know. If it's something that is like going to hit on demand and I can watch it from home, yeah, I'd probably pay, the $14-15 to sit down and watch that. It didn't blow me away, if that makes sense. Like I didn't watch and be like, oh my gosh, that looks so cool. Didn't have that wow factor for me. It's just one of those, like, you see a trailer, like, oh, that looks all right. Maybe I'll watch it one day. That's what it was for me.
There you go. I think that's probably something for me. When it hits like cable television or something like that, for me, I'm not sure if I'm going to go out and make an effort to see it. I might, you never know. Or if it, like you said, if it goes straight to on demand, you never know. But again, you always worry about movies that have been on ice for that long. And I appreciate, again, Noah Ian Fine comment that Tom's American accent sounds more everyman. But it's not him. And this is a chance and opportunity for him to go ahead and use his own voice. But, that's up to him. And that's up to, I guess, maybe more relatable to an audience, I guess. And I have a feeling that we're going to find out more inside information on this film, because it's something, again, that's been on ice as early as 2017. So we'll see what the plans are ahead. There was no release date given. It says coming soon. So who knows when it's coming out, but they said soon. So we're going to anticipate a release in the near future for Chaos Walking. We want to hear your thoughts on Chaos Walking. Let us know, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Tom and Jerry, my friend, I know you got a chance to check out that trailer as well. I have some differing opinions on it than you do, it sounds like.
So I didn't necessarily say I liked it or I wanted to run out to see it, because in all probability I probably won't watch it, but I would be lying if I said that the trailer did not make me chuckle just a little bit. Tom and Jerry, I remember growing up watching this show and them being so physically abusive to one another. It was violent beyond all means, but you could not help but laugh at it. This cartoon led an entire generation of American kids into being sadistic in a way. So I'm sitting here watching this. Yes, it's animated, but I'm still curious how they're able to make something like this in 2020, because I guarantee you're going to have kids walking out of the movie theater and they're going to be mimicking this in some way. So
I can't wait to hear the first "I dropped an anvil on another kid" accident.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, my brother was playing the piano and I decided to roll a bowling ball onto his fingers. Like, I don't know how they were able to, like, I don't know what the backlash is going to, this could be, this could be big. I mean, the backlash from a movie like this could be insane. It looks like, I'm curious if people, because people took their kids to see the Smurfs, right? And then all of a sudden all the church moms and all over the place were like, oh, the Smurfs are awful. And so I'm just wondering if this is going to have the same effect. Like, we're going to see like boycotts and stuff. Probably not, but I mean, it's an interesting thought. And
if we had movie theaters to actually go to.
Right, so that's going to lead to my next question: on demand or movie theaters?
On demand. I think of maybe a sprinkling of movie theaters, but these days, I mean, right now, the box office winner, which is Freaky, that horror movie that's out that we really liked with the Freaky Friday twist, that was the box office winner at 1.2 million for the weekend. So that tells you right there that nobody is going to the theaters. So even a movie like that, which has garnered some critical success and has actually gotten a lot of notoriety for Vince Vaughn, unfortunately is going to have to reap its rewards on a home video aspect. And I think Tom and Jerry are too. The bigger question is, what are Michael Pena and Chloe Grace Moretz doing on there? I know Noah had his opinions on it. You're just signing it for a contract. It's a money deal. But Michael Pena, I mean, is he cashing in on his Ant-Man success by doing Dora, by doing Tom and Jerry? What cartoon character movie is going to do next? Is he going to do, let's say, a return to Popeye? I don't know. It just seems like it's beneath him. And Chloe Grace Moretz, I know her career hasn't gone in the right direction I think a lot of people were hoping it would after the Kick-Ass movies, but especially with Michael Pena, I don't know what's going on. And Fantasy Island, my gosh, I mean, if I was him, maybe I would have fired his agent, unless they're really good paydays. So you don't know.
Okay, so I feel like we're comparing a lot of, like, when we look at modern actors and we ask ourselves, why are they in that? I think we're comparing them too much to the these classically trained big names that we're so used to. Like, I look at someone like Michael Pena, Chloe Grace Moretz. So I look at actors like them, and I feel like we're coming up in a generation of actors who just don't care what they're in. They just are going to be in everything. Like, I don't think they look at a project and go, oh, that's going to kill my career, because there are so many people. Look at Robert Downey Jr., for example, who was in a movie that, he did a lot of movies that weren't really that good, and then he nailed the Iron Man part, and then boom, he blew up. So I don't really think that it's a concern for people as much these days. What really bothers me about Michael Pena, though, is that people are constantly typecasting him. Like, he always plays the same role in every movie, or more or less. He's typecasted as Hispanic characters. Like, that's what he gets typecasted as, and that kind of.
He's a really good actor.
Right. He's a fantastic actor, and he's got so much potential, but he just keeps on getting crammed into the same roles, that just in slightly different variations.
Things like Tom and Jerry and Fantasy Island, these are movies that are not going to be well remembered years down the line. So I just don't understand why he feels the need to go ahead and get, unless, like I said, he wants to go ahead and pad that account. And if that's the case, then more power to him on that. But it's kind of disappointing for someone of his character who has such a great career ahead of him. I'm hoping that he'll get some good dramatic roles to maybe supplement off that, because that's what we see sometimes, is where there's a good dramatic actor, he or she will have those payday roles, and then that actor or actress will go ahead and supplement that with the Academy Award winning or Academy Award beloved type films to offset that. But Tom and Jerry, it's Tom and Jerry. Like you said, it could be something that's very controversial for all the different reasons. These are cartoons that have taken place even before you and I were born, that they were created. And the violence that's on them, which we were always laughing at as a kid, now in 2020 is going to be perceived as something much different. So I'm curious to see if they will continue with that level of violence, or if they will do something very subdued that won't get the characters over at all. And that would be disappointing if that's the case, but we'll have to wait and see. But is a Tom and Jerry movie? It is a Chaos Walking movie that are upcoming in the near future. But we want to hear your thoughts. Did you check out the trailers? Let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, coming up next is Ben Arnot from Smoking Hot Confessions. He's got one last recipe to go ahead and shout out to everyone out there before the end of 2020, and he's going to drop that up next, right after the break. And then after that, we're going to be talking some Demon Slayer, our top Black Friday picks for this year, and the failure of the remake of 13. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos.
Coming soon, Zero Cool Films presents Action Figure Adventure. Super collector Jay Bartlett hits the road once again in search of action figures' most iconic and noteworthy and rare figures, all in the name of creating the most ultimate action figure auction ever. He fronts the cash that charity benefits in the end. What will he get? How will he get it? And how well will he do? Find out in 2020.
All right, and we're back with the program. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. It is my good friend indeed. It is Ben Arnot. You got to check out what he's doing today at SmokingHotConfessions.com and basically type in the words Smoking Hot Confessions, and SHC will just come up all over the place on any medium, any social media, any forum, any outlet, and the group that he has on Facebook that has over 10,000 people, I think, on it. If you're 15,000 people, at least on your page, you've got 15,000 people. So there are thousands and thousands of people who just basically follow this man. You got to check out what he's doing today at Smoking Hot Confessions. Everywhere you go, it is Ben Arnot. It's always great to talk to you, my friend.
Thank you for having me, man.
Any holiday tips, just general holiday tips. You don't have to go on a main course or anything like that, but any general holiday tips for people out there in regards to what they need to do, because, you know, obviously with all that's gone on in 2020, closing out the year safe, closing out the year festive, we need our spirits higher than any point in time, maybe in the last 20, 30 years. This has not been a good year for many people out there, and closing it out the right way would be awesome, and having a good festive way to do it. But any advice on how to make that happen?
Yeah, look, my advice would be to make the most of the opportunities that you have presented. So, okay, so you can't get everybody together. Great. Take the pressure off. Don't worry about cooking a giant meal to feed 20 people. Just worry about cooking for 3 people or 4 people. And instead of getting a whole turkey, get just a turkey breast or the double breast, or turkey wings are actually starting to become quite a thing here as well in Australia. If you got like a Weber kettle, push your charcoal baskets together in the middle, season up the turkey wings, put them all around the outside, get that charcoal cranking as hot as you possibly can. The rounded lid on the Weber's going to reflect that heat back down around the outside. You can end up with some delicious, crispy skinned turkey wings, which is a really delicious way to have turkey without a lot of the stress and the hassle of having to try and cook a whole bird.
You're doing it to me again. You're doing it to me again.
Yeah. So, don't look at the COVID situation as limitations and restrictions. Look for the opportunities that it presents. So, the holiday times are always really stressful. So take that pressure off yourself. You don't need to cook for all those people. Find lots of simple little things to do. One thing I'm really excited about is I've just finally found a blackberry supplier here on the Gold Coast, because blackberries are really hard to find. So I'm going to be making up just some little small trays of blackberry cobbler that I'm going to roast in the Weber over charcoal. And, I'm really looking forward to these different opportunities. And I'm really looking forward to being able to share some of these different cooking adventures that I'm going to take using exactly what I said, using Zoom and some earbuds, and sharing that out through the Smoking Hot Confessions barbecue community and doing all that sort of thing as well. So that would be my advice, is just, look for the silver linings, look for the opportunities to take some of the pressure off yourself, because you're probably already super stressed out as it is. So be kind and take care of yourself.
Great advice indeed from a good man who you've got to follow today. I've just got 3 words for you. Go to Google. Actually, I've got a little bit more than that. Go to Google.
Say, that's it. That's 3 words. You're done.
Go to Google. Type in these words: Smoking Hot Confessions. And the whole experience known as Smoking Hot Confessions comes up. Before we head on out, my friend, I need you to go ahead and give everyone the lowdown on why the Smoking Hot Confessions not only is a great place to go, that's not a cult, but my gosh, The smell, not yet, but the smell of the great food that might come that way might just lead you all the way in.
Yeah, so Smoking Hot Confessions, we're Australia's #1 source for all things barbecue. And through the podcast, we explore not just the Australian barbecue scene, but the American barbecue scene as well. One of my most recent episodes, I was talking with Ray Sheehan of Barbecue Buddha from New Jersey, for example, and talking about his new cookbook and all that sort of thing. So we do cover all the different corners of the barbecue industry. We do recipes, we do how-tos, we do advice, we do different videos for different things that you can do on the grill. We've got our podcast, which is now released in video and in audio form as well, which has gone great guns. So, we really hit it from all sides. We do have the SmokingHotConfessions.com website where you can go to grab all some Smoking Hot Confessions hats and T-shirts, and very important, some vacuum insulated drinking containers, which is always very important to keep your water icy cold while you're barbecuing, and all of that sort of gear as well. So the website is the hub for everything. That's where we do post all the recipes and the how-tos, tips, advice, articles. Each episode of the podcast gets its own page on there, and then we are all over the socials as well. So YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I do have a TikTok account, but I'm not particularly disciplined about TikToking.
Just let the grill sing instead of you.
Yeah, that could be quite interesting, actually. I could just sort of grab the Weber lid and sort of lift it up in time with the music to make it look like the Weber's singing. I like that.
There you go. Well, once again, just type in Smoking Hot Confessions, and the whole experience of great barbecue grilling, great ideas, great people to talk to, and so much more is all right there for you. The videos, the podcasts, the articles, so much more. It's all right there for you at Smoking Hot Confessions. And again, there's no better place to go for all your food needs than SmokingHotConfessions.com. Well, my friend, it's been great talking to you as always. I love it when I get to talk to my great friend from Australia, Ben Arnot. So many years dealing with me, this Yank right here in the U.S., I guess is how you guys say it. I'm just so pleased and so honored as always. I will get you back on the program ASAP. And I just might do it straight from the grill.
Sounds good to me, mate. I look forward to it.
I look forward to it as well. And as always, I look forward to having you a part of the pop culture cosmos.
You're listening to the Pop Culture Cosmos.
And we're back to close out the show. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos. Want to give a big thank you again to our good friend in Australia, Ben Arnot from Smoking Hot Confessions. You got to check out what he's doing on everything relating to the barbecue scene at SmokingHotConfessions.com. And of course, his videos, his podcasts, be a part of his group on Facebook, and so much more. He's all over social media. Just type in Smoking Hot Confessions, and you'll be glad you did. Plus, also, you got to check us out next week. Next week, we're going to be live from Indie Pods United. It is a great 5-day event. If you're a podcaster, want to be a podcaster, or just looking for some great entertainment and podcast shows, not only that, we're going to have musicians. They're going to have live music, comedians, entertainers, interviews, panels, workshops, podcasts, and so much more. It is Indie Pods United. For ticket information, and as of this recording right now, it is still $10 for the entire event. 5 days equates to $2 a day. 5 days, $10. Just hit up IndiePodsUnited.com for ticket information through Eventbrite. Please, I know the people that have been working on it so hard. Big shout out to Tina Marie from the Psychedelic Podcast. She's been working so hard to make this happen. Just finished a major discussion on the Indie Pods United Top 25 with a great panel of judges on that. And give a shout out to Rhea and Johnny who were with me on that as far as helping make this happen. So we've come up with the Indie Pods United Top 25 Independent Podcast for 2020. If you want to check out all the nominees, that's at Indie Pods United on Facebook. But my friend, before we head on out, Demon Slayer. This is something that might be up your alley as the anime guy that you are. Demon Slayer is a movie that's currently out overseas in the Far East, but it is garnering huge money to the tune of $214 million already. It's one of the only movies this year that is garnering any type of interest for people to actually go in and watch it. It's something that maybe when it appears on Netflix or appears on somewhere down the road, it should be very interesting. But I want to hear your thoughts on Demon Slayer, how this movie is garnering so much interest that in the middle of a pandemic is still driving people in and breaking records on the other side of the world?
Well, from what I understand, their theater rules are a lot more structured than what we have here. So I think people feel a little safer going to the movies out there. As for Demon Slayer, I can't really speak to anything about the anime because I've never seen it before. I was reading about the film itself, and it sounds like it has a really interesting plot. What I think everyone's constantly underestimating is just how like popular anime is. So Demon Slayer is a sequel to I think it was a series made in 2016 or 17. But I think that the American market is constantly underestimating just how much people love anime. Like you go to Hot Topic, you go to Box Lunch, you go to any store really, and you're going to find racks of like My Hero Academia. You're going to find a lot of Dragon Ball Z stuff, Dragon Ball Super, even a lot of Gundam stuff. And that just goes to show you that like people, there is a big craving for anime. And I know that we do back when like the Inuyasha films came out, Edwards did a big run of those. And I don't know if they made a lot of money, but they just stopped doing that. Like several years ago, they just stopped doing that. I think the last thing that Edwards played was Sword of the Stranger or Eureka 7. I don't know, it's one of those films. But there was just years where there was nothing, no anime events in theaters. And I think that if they were to play some anime in theaters, we would see people turning out to watch this stuff. And because they don't do that, I don't think that they're willing to like test the waters here enough to try stuff like that. But it makes sense. And I wonder if we're going to be seeing a North American release of that same film.
I'm wondering that as well. I have a feeling, though, it's going to probably not get a box office release, or, obviously, and right now it's going to be a very limited one. I have a feeling Netflix is going to end up, because they have really done a number on getting anime. They've really cornered the market on that, ahead of Crunchyroll, ahead of some of the other anime specialists. They have really gone and went ahead and really tried to make a marketplace out of the anime industry. So I think Netflix would be my odds-on bet to see it here in America. It's not something I know per se, but I think at some point in time it's going to end up on a major platform like Netflix, because I think this is garnering too much interest overseas to pass up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I would hope that it does. With Netflix and their anime, my only complaint about what they do is that they have these shows that go maybe 2 or 3 seasons in and then they don't finish them. And I don't know like if there's how the market works or stuff like that, as far as like Funimation and Right Stuff. I think it's the same company, Bandai, whoever it is who makes these big high profile anime series. I'm curious how the distribution rights work for things like that,
I'll tell you what, it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out, because it is Demon Slayer and it's breaking box office records in the Far East, in Taiwan, in Japan. It's really doing a number, and it just seems to be something a lot of people are very interested in. And it's an anime that could garner some big dollars as far as selling off the rights to one of either the anime specialist networks or Netflix. I have a feeling it will probably be Netflix, because Netflix keeps its eye on projects like these, and somehow they managed to go ahead and matriculate there. And they're spending a lot of money on projects like these, and I think that's going to end up there most likely, although, again, that's still up for debate. But I want to hear your thoughts out there. If you've heard of Demon Slayer, if you're interested in Demon Slayer, we want to hear your thoughts. If this is going to be the type of anime you really want to get into when you get a chance to go ahead and watch it, we want to hear your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com.
Thanks for checking out the PCC, the Pop Culture Cosmos. We'll be back in one moment. If you need your video game fix, be sure to check out Retro City Games. Located in Town Square on Las Vegas Boulevard or in Henderson, Nevada, Retro City Games has the cure for all your video game vices. Retro games and games for current consoles, Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, Xbox, and more. Retro City Games has all the staples from any library and some highly collectible offerings too. So pick up a few games today at Retro City Games in Town Square on Las Vegas Boulevard or in Henderson, Nevada. Retro City Games is your video game metropolis.
Well, my friend, let's go ahead and hit some Black Friday picks for 2020. I want to hear some deals, man. Deals, because Black Friday is around the corner. So go ahead. Hit me up, man. I'm ready. Go ahead and hit me with some deals. My wallet is in another room. My credit cards are in another room, so I can't spend it right now, but I'll have my internet ready. go ahead and hit me up with some Black Friday picks for 2020.
So it's weird this year because everyone has already kind of put their stuff on sale, and it's been on sale for the past couple weeks. So let me start with what I've bought already. So I've been to Best Buy, and Best Buy's got some really great deals on Marvel and DC movies. They're just great deals all around the board. You know, I got Aquaman on Blu-ray for $5. I got Birds of Prey on Blu-ray for $5. I got what else? I got the 2 Spider-Man movies on Blu-ray for $5. We went to Walmart and I was able to purchase Rise of Skywalker on 4K Blu-ray for like $7. So that was a pretty good deal. A movie I normally wouldn't have bought, but at $7, you can't really complain. Mortal Kombat Legends I got for like $3. So I've done a lot of movie shopping so far. What I'm looking at that hasn't started yet, or actually is starting and is up now, it looks like. You go to Target, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. I've been looking into getting that pack, and that's about $25 right now. Same thing with Star Wars Squadrons. If you did not play Final Fantasy VII, the remake, which we talked about before we started recording, that is also $24.99 at Target. Forza Horizon 4, if you don't have Games Pass, is also there. You know, moving on to Walmart, they have quite a few different titles as far as you can get Mortal Kombat, $15 on Xbox One, PS4.
Mortal Kombat 11, correct?
11, yeah. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, $15. If you're on the fence about playing Death Stranding, this would be a good time to pick it up for $20. Same thing with Days Gone. You can pick up the Resident Evil 2 remake for $20, which I think is highly worth it. Moving on to Best Buy here, they've got some pretty great deals. Again, their Blu-rays are up to like $18 off. So, I mean, this is a really great chance if you're looking in the market for 4K and you're looking for like Marvel, DC stuff, even horror franchises like The Conjuring. You can pick up a lot of things. I know it's really cool right now for kids to have seen the movie It. So if you're in that crowd, there's $6 at Best Buy. Okay, so I've been perusing Target. Have you noticed that Target they've become a lot more expensive lately?
Well, there is a couple of doorbusters, as they would say in retail back when I was in there and doing it, loss leaders. But there is a couple of interesting doorbusters. The Beats headphones at $174.99. Those are some high-end wireless headphones that I think a lot of people would be interested in. Those are, I think, about $150 off of their normal MSRP. So that's a good deal right there. But the thing that catches me most of all the TV deals, and we mentioned on the show here all month long as far as the TV deals, I really, really think that the 65-inch TCL that has got 120 clear motion refresh rate at $229.99 for a 65-inch TCL, I think that one appeals to me the most as far as from a good value, what you're getting. TCL's a known brand. I see them every year at CES, and I do see them out at other retailers. So I'm going to say right now, you're right about Target about the prices being a little bit higher, especially on the video games side. I thought there was not as many attractive deals as I once saw.
Yeah. They're not I mean, and also Target has some really great deals on TV mounts. I know those are crazy expensive. So if you're looking to get one that has,
well, those are high margin. Those are high margin products.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're looking at looking for something that has maybe 2 or 3 inch clearance from the back of the wall, because for me, we have a 70-inch TV in the front room, and I busted one of the HDMI outlets on there because it plugged in. Yeah, so I can only use the ones on the side. But
way to go, Josh! Way to go!
Yeah, foolish Josh. Anyways, if you are looking for something that has a little more clearance, Target has some good deals on TV mounts. I haven't actually looked at Best Buy's TV mounts yet, but back to Target, they're like, hey, we have deals going on, but they're only like $3 or $4 off. Like, it's no different from any other like Sunday ad. So it's not really something I'm interested in shopping. What I am interested in with Target is the buy 2, get 1 free on movies, music, and books. So every year I search for a thing like Gundam Blu-rays on sale. And what I have discovered with Target, though they're not on sale, I can buy two of the box sets and get one for free. So if you're in the market for anime, Target.com would actually be a great place to go right now. Anything else from Target you're interested in looking at?
Like I said, the video game deals were kind of disappointing to me there. Yeah. I do want to say, you mentioned Best Buy. If somebody has not picked up Gears 5, which I haven't as of yet, and it's $5. Just letting you know, Gears 5 is going to be $5 at Best Buy. I believe it's the price right now. So, I mean, not right now, but during Black Friday. So Gears 5, which I think is going on for Best Buy and sale on Wednesday. Take a look for it. It's going to be, I think, $5. Plus also GameStop, which is something we don't normally talk about as far as concerned. We did cover their ad last week.
You can buy Gears 5 at Best Buy for $5 right now if you wanted to head over there.
I might just do that. Gosh darn it, my friend. You stop it. You're making me spend already.
It's worth it though. It's a great game.
I also want to go into GameStop. Like I said, GameStop is something we don't usually see have a lot of great deals at, but Borderlands 3 for $9.99. That's very attractive. Something I know you were really into with the Borderlands community as far as it's concerned. You really like the Borderlands series of games. And then the biggest thing, and I have not seen it marked anywhere lower, and it was very surprising to me. I had to check it twice, but Star Wars Squadrons at $16.99 for a game that recently came out that has garnered a lot of critical success and is something that, yes, it doesn't have the longest campaign in the world, but it's kind of fun. And then the multiplayer is kind of fun as well. For something that is pretty solidly thought of, another successful EA Star Wars game, to have it at $16.99, which is actually less expensive than Jedi Fallen Order is on any of its sales for Black Friday, that I found very surprising, even though it's marked, initially as a lower MSRP.
If you were hesitating to play Star Wars, like, this is the time to pick it up. You can even, it was Walmart, I think, had Jedi Fallen Order for around that same price. So, I mean, if you're in the market to play some Star Wars games, this would definitely be the time to pick them up.
What are your thoughts out there on some great Black Friday deals? We want to hear your thoughts. If you have any in mind, we'll go ahead and update people out there on our Pop Culture Cosmos Facebook page. We'll go ahead and give people updates there if you have any in mind, or if we see any more great deals, whether it's on BlackFriday.com or any of the other Black Friday ad sites. If we see any other great deals, we will definitely share that along right on our Pop Culture Cosmos Facebook page, so take a look for that. But again, if you have any thoughts on it, questions, or if you just want to go ahead and share some great deals, let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, my friend, it's been a great episode. I cannot thank you enough for being a part of it once again. But before we head on out, this is one of my favorite original Xbox games. That's 13, the Roman numeral 13. It was a very intriguing game. I didn't know very much about it when I first picked it up, but my gosh, I got invested in the story. It's about a guy that's suffering from amnesia. He wakes up alongside the beach, and then he finds out that he may or may not have killed the president. So you got to go uncover this plot. He used a at that time, I wouldn't say revolutionary, but very stylistic cell shading technology. Had a really good comic book type of feel with the panels that they use in comic books. That style was utilized very well in the game. And then the multiplayer, even though it was only a 4-player multiplayer, I think, it was still very cool to play. And I loved using the crossbow in that game. Oh, it was just such a fun time. I thought it was actually kind of cool. I was looking forward to a remake that was happening of it, and a refreshing or reimagining of it coming out this year from Microids. It came out to extremely horrible reviews because the development companies involved, unfortunately, decided to go ahead and take most of the cell shading colors and cell shading technology away and tried to give it its own look and feel, and in essence took a lot of the gameplay as well from it. It's earning one of the lowest scores ever on Steam. And it's gone to the point where the company itself is blaming the coronavirus and blaming other things and apologizing profusely for it. So I want to hear your thoughts. This is something that we've talked about before on many episodes, is whether these games should be remade, refreshed. And we actually talked about it, Noah and I, and you and I before the program, about Final Fantasy VII Remake that got nominated for Game of the Year. That's on one side of the spectrum. Unfortunately, the 13 Remake is on the other.
Yeah, so it's funny, like cases like this where people really, or the creators of these games really underestimate how much people love the animation style in games. You know, like if what you said is correct, and one of the big staples of 13 was the animation style, it sounds like that was not something their marketing team really did any research on, trying to find out like what made people want to buy the game. You know, when you look into a game and find out like what makes this game worth remaking, literally rebuilding from the ground up, you would think that you would do some research and find out that, hey, people really like the animation in this game. And I don't know if like Corona is a great excuse. It probably is just a lack of preparation done on their part for this game. It is disappointing because I do know a lot of people were interested in this, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who, like yourself, and there are other people probably hoping to get maybe a sequel out of this. So that aspect's disappointing. And, you know, it's like, I think what we've talked about Final Fantasy VII Remake, what really did well with that one, I think what really got that off the ground was the fact that it wasn't so much a remake as it was a retelling. I don't know a game like 13 if they had enough fandom to really push an idea like that. But again, you know, anytime you're remaking a game, you're taking a risk because there are certain reasons that people really like these games. And if you miss those reasons, then it's just not going to bode very well for you.
I've had a chance to review 2 pretty solid remakes this year. And were they perfect remakes or remasters? No. But still, they were shown that they had enough development time to go ahead and put out some really decent quality remakes. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the same for 13. And you're right, when it comes to Final Fantasy VII, they did put the time and care into it, and they built a lot of aspects into it that were new and fresh and exciting. But they also did a lot of things to go ahead and remind us of what was so great about Final Fantasy VII. Is it Game of the Year worthy? I don't know. Again, Noah and I discussed that on Friday's show. You'll have to hear that debate. I think there were some parameters that I don't think it qualifies for, but that's just me. But when it comes to 13 and the remake, it's just something they should have avoided altogether once they started going ahead and really messing with what was so great about 13.
Yeah, if anyone else had thoughts out there, I'd be curious to know. Because, I mean, I want to know what makes a good remake in people's minds. You know, like I've played a few remakes and I've enjoyed them just for the sake of going back to that world, you know. But in other people, there's certain aspects of every game that they want to see redone. So I just am curious if you guys can shoot us an email and let us know like what makes a good remake, because I'm genuinely curious of what people think of that.
And I'm issuing disappointment at publisher Microids and then the developer Playmagic. We always cite developers and publishers when we can when they do something good. Unfortunately, we're going to have to cite those two when they did something bad, and hopefully they will go ahead and regroup and maybe refresh somehow 13 to make it to the point where people are satisfied with it. I don't see that being the case. I see them going ahead and dropping everything and then moving on, but we'll see what happens. But there's a lot of technical glitches. There's a lot of things that people don't like, the animation and things that were done to basically destroy whatever legacy that was available on 13. And so I'm hoping that we will have better remakes and remasters and refreshes in the future, i.e. Mass Effect. Hopefully BioWare won't blow that one. Better not. That's another one from my past that I really don't want them to mess with. But again, we'll find out coming up here in 2021. What are your thoughts out there on the 13 remake? Let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, Josh, it's been a great episode. I cannot thank you enough for joining me once again on the Pop Culture Cosmos. Our true best wishes to our good friend Marcus, who's still under the weather at this point in time. Hopefully he'll be back on with us. It will be PCC Multiverse number 200 coming up at the end of this week. 200, man! 200!
Yeah, we've been at this for a long time, so thank you to everyone who's been following us that long. But yeah, it's been quite the ride, you know, over all these years.
Absolutely. So on Black Friday, we're going to be dropping our PCC Multiverse number 200. Hopefully we can make something special out of it. Maybe some guests dropping by, or we're going to try and have just a great time because it is the 200th episode for the PCC Multiverse. And it's all because of you that we've been able to get this far. So we truly appreciate everyone out there who's been a part of this show, who's listened, and who's watched us over the years. We cannot thank you enough for being part of the Pop Culture Cosmos. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great